Hi, I'm Brenda Buglione, and welcome back to Snowmotion, your source for all things skiing. This week, I'm riding up the chairlift with Norwegian superstar Aleksander Aamodt Kilde as he opens up about his road back to skiing after a terrible crash at Wengen that left him sidelined for 684 days. We talk patience, setbacks, and what he's learned along the way. Then, U.S. ski team mogul skier Tess Johnson drops a pro tip to help you ski moguls with more control. Plus, we'll dive into the mental side of elite ski racing in UYN Sports, Below the Surface. Winter is here, so let's get after it.
For some, 4:30 a.m. is sleeping in. Oh, this? It only looks easy because we've done it 1,000 times. And winning? We know a thing or two about that. Success is no accident. It's earned every day when it comes to the mountain or investing. It's why at Stiefel, we're proud to support the Stiefel U.S. ski team as they chase their dreams. The Stiefel U.S. ski team, where success meets success.
40 years dedicated to making ski boots that fit better, feel better, and perform better, and you get pretty good at it. But don't take our word for it. Just ask Kevin Gabarra, who says his Surefoot boots are more comfortable than his tennis shoes. Or Kayla Shields, who finally skied a day without her feet killing her. Or Michael Hensley, who just thinks Surefoot is awesome. Or John Thompson, or Christy Kay, or any of these folks. Stop by a Surefoot and see for yourself just how much better your ski boots can feel and perform.
Snowmotion is brought to you by Stiefel, where success meets success. And by Gorsuch. After a long and challenging recovery, Alex Kilde is finding his way back to the sport that defines him. I caught up with Alex on the chairlift, and we talked about setbacks, gratitude, and why it means so much to be back on the snow. Today's chairlift interview is with Norwegian World Cup ski racer Alex Kilde. Alex, you're here in Copper Mountain preparing for the season. How do you feel coming back after missing a whole year? That must have been hard.
Yeah, it's great to be here, honestly. It's been a long time coming, just waiting for everything to heal well. And now we're training in Copper, which is always a pleasure.
Okay, so this was a bad injury, but you've been such a fighter. I mean, through this infection with your shoulder, how was that mentally?
It's been a roller coaster, of course, with emotions, but I felt like I didn't have any choice, because when it comes to infection, then your body tells you have to really take care of it. And for me, it was the toughest part was to be away from the sport and be away from what I'm usually capable of doing. And that's still the case. I'm pretty limited still, and that's tough mentally. Yeah. But it's also been really kind of interesting to see how patient I could be, and how the acceptance of everything that's been so important.
They say, you need these setbacks to even grow more and become even stronger.
Yeah, and to realize that what you do is actually pretty awesome. So when everything is working well, then you should just appreciate it. But when you're out of it, then it's just, it's a little bit of a different mentality then. So for me now, it's just about trying to get into the rhythm and also trying to understand what it takes. And fortunately, I've been in a position where I have been fast before, and I've dealt with challenging stuff before, but this is a new story. But I'm getting my confidence slowly back in training, which is the first step I need to take. Yeah. I think it's very, very exciting and very cool to be here.
It's a challenge, right? To overcome that, I bet, a little bit of fear and apprehensiveness. I know that, like, if you train and start making some great turns and get your speed back, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's what I say.
Hopefully. I think with experience, especially in the speed disciplines, and I've been in the game for 10, 15 years, so I know Beaver Creek. I can ski Beaver Creek. I've done well there, and I've been to Copper. It's so all those factors are out of the picture. It's more about me feeling like I could pull up a good turn, ski fast, glide fast, and be competitive. That's the most important thing, and stay healthy, of course, but I think that's going to be.
Because you're going to, to do well, you challenge yourself, and you're not always in control, right?
No, that's the thing,
and
wanting to go out of that comfort zone and control, I think that's going to be the first real challenge for me going back to the competition.
Because you don't want to do this again.
No, you don't want to.
You don't, yeah.
You know, with the pain and everything around it, it's something you don't want to experience again. But
and you love what you do, and you love it so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone in the world loves the romance on the slopes.
Yeah, of course.
They do.
Michaela and me, we're really, really calm with it. Just, living life and having a great time. I think that's important. And also, we know that skiing is a limited amount of years, and we need to just enjoy it while we can, because it's some days going to not be possible to do it anymore.
Where did you guys first meet? I mean, tell me the beginning of that.
Yeah, we met on the ski hill, of course. First time was in Portillo, in Chile, where we had training. The women's US ski team was there, and I've heard about this name, Michaela Schifrin, the young superstar from US. And then I went up to her and said, very nice to meet you. And then, and it went almost 4 years, and we met here and there at Atomic Media Day, and we chatted a little bit on Instagram, Facebook, and then in the end, we figured out why not. Why not?
I love this. Why not? It's a good motto to live by, right? Alex, thanks for riding the lift with us.
Sure, my pleasure.
Have a good year. It's all going to work out perfectly.
Yeah, I am feeling the nerves a little bit, but I'm also very excited to be here.
Thanks
for having me. High five.
Coming up, Tess Johnson shares a mogul tip. We go inside UYN's film Below the Surface, and later a chat with US skier Nina O'Brien at the Stiefel Copper Cup. Don't go anywhere.
How to be Michaela Schifrin. Be born with superhuman strength. Work hard. Then work harder. Win a lot, like a world record amount. That's how to become the best alpine skier ever. And if that seems too hard, maybe just watch Michaela and the rest of the Stiefel US ski team chase their dreams this winter.
The athletes of Team USA train a lifetime for the opportunity to capture their dreams. At the Steadman Clinic and Steadman Philippon Research Institute, we believe in those dreams. A national medical center for the United States Olympic Committee, providing the world's best orthopedic care, helping Team USA realize their dreams. The Steadman Clinic and Steadman Philippon Research Institute.
TheFeed.com presents Athletes in the Wild. Of all the wild animals, the athlete is the most ferocious. A high-strung, muscle-clad creature with two speeds, feast and nap. These creatures require constant feeding, gels, bars, electrolytes, supplements, protein, and they forage at the feed, delivered fast like them. Please feed the animals.
For all my latest ski tips and chairlift interviews, subscribe to @Snowmotion Sports on YouTube and follow me on Instagram at Brenda Buglione 1. Tess, here we are at the top of a mogul field. What is the most important thing to improve your mogul skiing?
To absorb with your lower body. And you do that at the biggest part of the bump. So we're actually standing on it right now, Brenda. You want to absorb like this. I see a lot of people absorbing with their chest and they're falling forward and then they want to leave the bumps.
All right, what is the second most important thing?
The second most important thing is to keep your hands up. I like to, before I ski the bumps, put my hands on my shoulders and go straight out. That's where you want your hands to be while you're skiing bumps. And the reason is because when you do that awesome absorption, your hands are gonna keep your body forward. If your hands were back here and you did this, you'd probably fall back.
Okay, I like this. Before you go down the moguls, Tess says, touch your shoulders and bring
them right out. That is the money position for upper body in mogul skiing. And tip 3, ski to snow contact. One of the worst things you can do in mogul skiing, especially as maybe a beginner or intermediate, is lose contact with the snow. You know, we love to jump, but only on the jumps. In the bumps, we want to keep our skis on the ground because that's where you have control. That's where you can dictate what you do with your skis. And if you keep your hands in front in that absorption like that, then your skis are probably going to stay on the snow. And you'll be ripping bumps before you know it.
Of course, I have one last question. Where do you look?
I usually look about 5 or 6 moguls ahead.
Wow, wow. Okay, so do you want to demonstrate that?
Let's do it.
Tess, those tips were really helpful. Before you ski the moguls, the Tess tap, keep your hands in front.
Yeah, everyone go have fun, rip up the bumps, and maybe I'll see you there.
Ski racing is a sport of milliseconds, of centimeters, but the margin of victory does not start at the gate. It begins long before, deep in the off-season. UIN's film, Below the Surface, takes you on a journey into the most intimate side of their athletes, the one hidden even deeper than their base layers.
Yeah, it's a lot of job. During the summer also, for the people, it's just like we are in winter sports, so we are doing just skiing during the winter, and the rest of the time is vacation. But it's a little bit more complicated than this. We have a lot of physical training. We need to be ready physically for the season. We have a lot of ski training even during the summer.
Training begins when most people are resting, hitting the gym while others lie back in deck chairs. This is one of the first layers needed to build the armor. And it's not just physical. The real training begins in the mind. Conditioning yourself to endure this kind of effort isn't easy when the world outside moves in the opposite direction.
Everything we do is what we have in our mind, you know? So we have to be really confident on what we're doing. I mean, considering the difficulty and how extreme is what we're doing. So we gotta be really focused and prepared on what we're doing, you know. So we got like mentally, for example, I focus on 3 main points, and then from that, my mind thinks just about those 3 things.
Just before the races, when I have to be on the top of the form like 60 seconds before the start, I try to be very focused on my skiing, focus on what I have to do to go fast on skis. And I have a little routine to be in shape at the start. Like I'm jumping off my skis, I hurt my leg like this and doing some things like this to be ready, and it's like a list, and I cross everything. If I crossed everything, okay, I'm ready to go and I'm ready to give my best on the slope.
In those moments, if you're a skier, it feels as though no one remembers you exist. Yet it is in that summer solitude that, below the surface, the foundations of success are forged. Then, the gym becomes the mountain, weights turn into stamina, cardio becomes the ability to breathe where the air is thin. Building a body that can endure the violence of a downhill run isn't just about strength, it's about resilience, injury prevention, stability. It's training the body to withstand an effort it would otherwise never endure. It's defeating fear through discipline. It's science and suffering.
Everything that leads up to a competition is important. During the summer, we have a lot of training sessions here at the back jump. We have a lot of physical preparation that goes into it at the gym. And then we also have a lot of mental work. We have a mental coach with the team, and we work a lot on visualization. So there's a lot of work that goes into being ready for a competition, and it goes way beyond just training on snow.
For sure, the preparation is long. From April, May to the November is more work, physically work, but I think in the last 5-6 years, more mentally preparation. The mindfulness is a big part also in the sport.
The competition itself is very quick, so it doesn't last long, but you have to be fully focused for that minute. So you have to be ready, you have to be confident in what you're doing, and you have to know what you're doing, especially because you're jumping and it can be risky. So you have to be as mentally prepared as possible.
More than the gym, more than the slopes, the most decisive factor isn't out there. It's inside each of us. When there's panic at the gate, doubt on the slope, and the war in your head is louder than the world around you, that's where the real battle is fought.
Pressure from nations, from sponsors, from yourself, all of it just for one perfect run. In elite skiing, mental preparation is no longer a luxury, it's survival.
Then we have, also, of course, mental preparation. Not everyone does it. It's a bit of an open discussion, open topic. But I feel like personally, it's more important for me to do it in the winter because that's when I really need to be able to disconnect mentally.
40 years dedicated to making ski boots that fit better, feel better, and perform better, and you get pretty good at it. But don't take our word for it. Just ask Kevin Gabarra, who says his Surefoot boots are more comfortable than his tennis shoes. Or Kayla Shields, who finally skied a day without her feet killing her. Or Michael Hensley, who just thinks Surefoot is awesome. Or John Thompson, or Christy Kay, or any of these folks. Stop by a Surefoot and see for yourself just how much better your ski boots can feel and perform.
Adventure. It doesn't stop after an injury. It just looks a little different by adapting. At the High Fives Foundation, we help athletes rediscover freedom on snow, dirt, and water. From empowerment grants to adaptive sport camps, we're here to turn setbacks into comebacks. High Fives Foundation, preventing life-changing injuries and providing resources and hope if they happen.
Crowd is going to be hooting and hollering.
So technical.
It is the switch back 16, and he puts it down. What a wonderful day for USA out here.
All right, with that pole, Alex Ferrer, that was a run.
Snowmotion is brought to you by Surefoot. Better fitting, better skiing. And by Hestra Gloves. Agility is a part of stronger skiing. If you want quicker reaction time, better balance, and more power in your turns, try this plyometric exercise and it will get you there. Skiing requires a lot of agility, being quick on your feet, making slalom turns. I'm with my daughter, Kate Kerwood, an exercise specialist and a former D1 ski racer. Kate's gonna show us some exercises that are great for developing our power.
This is a plyometric jumping exercise to, as my mom said, be quick on your feet, being able to have control over your skis, and to absorb any impact, and when you're going over rolls and terrain, being able to adjust to it. So for this exercise, we will start You'll just do some quick hops, trying to stay light on your feet, engaging your core and having a solid upper body as if you were mogul skiing. Hop, 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 and then you're going to explode onto the box. Grab your weight, you can stand on up, take a step forward, and then you want to eccentrically load.
If you don't have a box, it's great just to be jumping back and forth.
Exactly. You can just even pick a line on the floor. Try to keep your upper body strong and stable and bounce your legs side to side. Keeping your upper body stable and strong. This also gets your heart rate up
It does.
and strengthens your ankles, calves, and shins, which are really working in your ski boot to initiate and make your turns. This exercise is great for your agility, for your calf leg strength, as well as plyometrically, eccentrically, and concentrically loading. It's great for power, endurance, and injury prevention on the slopes.
You know what I like most about it? It's that it almost feels like you're skiing. When you can't be skiing and you're jumping back and forth, it simulates the same movement. It's a good one. Best Day Ever is a film that highlights the incredible impact of the Kelly Brush Foundation. It features Greg Durso and showcases adaptive mountain biking. To learn more, visit kellybrushfoundation.org and follow @KellyBrushFDN.
It was New Year's Eve and I got a phone call at 5 in the morning. It's never good. And he knew. He said, I knew. I couldn't move, and I knew.
Imagine being an adult and taking away everything that you do independently and just zap. It is now gone and you have to rely on everybody else for everything. Like, no one's gonna sign up for that. Nobody would want that. It's a shitty feeling. It's crazy. You just feel like this burden. I think that's my biggest insecurity by far, is just having that feeling. I don't think it'll ever go away, but
That's the real trust fall, is when he trusts me and then I fall.
I think our inclination as able-bodied people is to feel bad for somebody who's had an injury. But when somebody doesn't feel bad for themselves, it changes your perspective.
The bicycle has always been known as a community builder. That sense of we're all doing this together transcends the bike itself.
Once you meet adaptive mountain bikers, you recognize that they are more aggressive, more skilled, more capable, more passionate. You realize, like, why do I have all these trails? And they don't.
When people think about adaptive trails, they think about very boring, smooth, green trails. And a lot of people even call them ADA trails, and that's not at all what we're trying to build.
He's changing the sport, you know? He's setting the example.
let me prove this to you. Like, let me show you, like, this can be done.
Drake made sure that his life was, for him, the best day ever.
Recently at the Stiefel Copper Cup, I caught up with U.S. ski team athlete Nina O'Brien. We talked about ski racing, taking risks, and how much fun it is to compete at home in front of her family and friends. Okay, Nina O'Brien at the bottom of the Copper Cup in Copper, Colorado. I love looking out and seeing your parents in the crowd and your family.
I know, me too. This is really rare and really special, so I'm very thankful they could all be here today.
What are you working on technically?
Technically, I think just always moving forward through the turn. And that's kind of the same thing I'm working on in GS and slalom, but I think as long as I have that movement into the turn and then out of it into the next turn, things seem to go better for me.
Tactically, how are you handling giant slalom?
Tactically, I'm just trying to be smart with how I approach every course and really try and pinpoint sections where maybe it's full gas, and then also identify turns where maybe you need to invest a little, give yourself a little bit more room so then you can, you know, set up the next section and gain more speed.
So I feel like there's some confidence like oozing out of you, and you're just so inspired for the rest of the year. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I would say I'm feeling hungry too. I definitely want more, as we all do, as every girl in today's race. I love doing this. I love ski racing, especially in front of a home crowd. I love traveling with my friends and trying to go faster every day. So I feel very, very lucky. It wouldn't be so fun if I didn't love my teammates the way I do. So thank you, Brenda. Thanks so much.
Well, that's it for this episode of Snowmotion. Thanks for joining us, and make sure to tune in next time for the latest winter sports action. Until then, I'm Brenda Buglione, and we'll see you on the slopes.